We all have a hunger
for perfection.
to be called a legend.
For shocking the world.
For pure joy.
To be a champion.
And for that Mamba mentality.
Ogunbowale for the win!
Women's Basketball Championship continues through April 7th.
Are you looking for a hassle-free, simple way to sell your home as is? We buy houses directly. There's no middlemen, no commissions. Give us a call today. House Buyers of America. Real estate made real easy.
Show me The Crown. Show me Homecoming. Baby sloth videos on YouTube.
Amy, do you mind giving someone else a turn?
Oh, yeah, I've made myself a little comfortable here.
I got a pizza for Amy.
Yes, that's me.
Xfinity lets you search Netflix, Prime Video, and YouTube with the sound of your voice.
And I don't have my wallet, so...
That's simple, easy, awesome. Switch to Xfinity and get started with this great offer. Plus, ask about 4K Ultra HD and packages that include Netflix. Click, call, or visit a store today.
See, feel, climb. First out, last in. Look round corners, look in crannies. Go down dark alleys. Lose yourself. Catch a lift. Push boundaries. Go walkabout. Get set. Go after the goosebumps. Never stop discovering. The Land Rover Discovery and Discovery Sport. The only adventure sales event is happening now.
Land Rover, above and beyond.
Are you looking for a hassle-free, simple way to sell your home as is? We buy houses directly. There's no middlemen, no commissions. Give us a call today. House Buyers of America. Real estate made real easy.
What's the best way to make your garden grow? Tuesday on Good Morning Washington.
Tonight, breaking news, the Mueller report and a major victory tonight for President Trump. The special counsel, Robert Mueller, finding no collusion, no conspiracy between President Trump or any of his aides with Russia. And on obstruction of justice, Robert Mueller stopped short of exonerating the president, but the new attorney general went further, concluding that Mueller's investigators lacked sufficient evidence to establish the president committed obstruction. Also breaking tonight, the president's first reaction now coming in, speaking just a short time ago.
It's a shame that our country had to go through this. To be honest, it's a shame that your president has had to go through this.
The Attorney General, William Barr, has read the Mueller report and his own summary now sent to Congress. Tonight, setting up a battle. How much of Robert Mueller's report will the American people actually see? A key Republican tonight saying it's a great day for the president. A leading Democrat saying they will call the Attorney General to testify. The other news this Sunday night, the chain reaction crash and heavy fog on an American highway. Nearly 36 vehicles, dozens of injuries, a toddler in critical condition. The nightmare at sea, the cruise ship with 1,300 passengers trapped in a storm. The horror playing out inside. And tonight, right here, you'll hear from American passengers on board. And the disturbing headline unfolding tonight. First, the young woman, the Parkland graduate who took her own life. She battled survivor's guilt. Tonight, news of another apparent suicide and the urgent call for help.
This is ABC World News Tonight with David Muir.
Good evening, and it's great to have you with us here on a very busy Sunday night. And we are in tonight because of the major story breaking, a major victory for President Trump. Robert Mueller's report was turned in on Friday, and tonight, just 2 days later, the summary now from the Attorney General, who said Mueller and his team found no collusion, no conspiracy between the president or his campaign with Russia. And when it comes to obstruction of justice, Robert Mueller stopping short of exonerating the president, but the Attorney General essentially did, saying Mueller's team lacked sufficient evidence to establish the president committed that offense. And just in tonight, the president's first reaction a short time ago.
It was a complete and total exoneration. It's a shame that our country had to go through this. To be honest, it's a shame that your president has had to go through this before I even got elected. It began. And it began illegally. And hopefully somebody's going to look at the other side. This was an illegal takedown that failed. And hopefully somebody's going to be looking at the other side. So it's complete exoneration. No collusion, no obstruction. Thank you very much. Thank you.
The president also tweeting something very similar: no collusion, no obstruction, complete and total exoneration. Our cameras capturing Attorney General William Barr leaving the Justice Department shortly after delivering his summary of the Mueller report to Congress. It now sets up a battle tonight on the Hill over how much of the Mueller report will be seen by the American people. And Robert Mueller himself, spotted right near the White House today going to church. His work 22 months after he started is now over. Tonight, right here, our first look at what Mueller found and what he didn't. ABC's Chief Justice correspondent Pierre Thomas leading us off.
After months in the shadows, today Special Counsel Robert Mueller before the cameras in broad daylight, walking past the White House with his wife, heading from church. Around the same time, the Attorney General leaving his home in Virginia, heading to the Justice Department, where for a second day, he and Deputy Attorney General Rod Rosenstein worked to distill Mueller's findings in a letter to Congress. At about 3:30 p.m. today, that letter went out. Barr tells Congress Mueller determined there were two main Russian efforts to influence the 2016 election. One, a social media disinformation campaign designed to sow discord. The other, a plot to hack computers and publicly disseminate emails from the Clinton campaign and the Democratic National Committee using intermediaries like WikiLeaks. But Barr writes, the special counsel's investigation did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with it conspired or coordinated with Russia in its efforts to influence the 2016 U.S. presidential election, despite, he says, multiple offers from Russian-affiliated individuals to assist. In his letter, Barr for the first time lays out the vast sweep of the investigation. Mueller employed 19 attorneys, used 40 FBI agents and experts, issued 2,800 subpoenas, and executed 500 search warrants. All in all, the special counsel's team interviewed approximately 500 witnesses. For nearly 2 years, the president dismissed it all as a witch hunt.
The entire thing has been a witch hunt. It's a witch hunt. That's all it is.
His relentless attacks on the investigation, including his decision to fire former FBI Director James Comey, led to questions about whether he obstructed justice. Barr says the special counsel sets out evidence on both sides of the question, noting that Mueller writes, quote, while this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime, it also does not exonerate him. Still, the Attorney General says Mueller did not draw a conclusion one way or another. But in his letter to Congress, Barr himself does draw a conclusion, writing that he and his deputy Rosenstein believe that the evidence developed during the special counsel investigation is not sufficient to establish that the president committed an obstruction of justice offense. Barr's summary today, just a brief 3.5 pages. In his confirmation hearing, Democrats making it clear they expect a lot more than that.
Will you commit to making any report Mueller produces at the conclusion of his investigation available to Congress and to the public?
As I said in my statement, I am going to make as much information available as I can, consistent with the rules and regulations that are part of the special counsel regulations.
Let's get to Pierre Thomas. He's live in Washington tonight. And Pierre, in his letter to Congress, the Attorney General says it is his goal and intent to release as much of the special counsel's report as he can, quote, consistent and applicable law, regulations, and departmental policies. So what is the next step here, Pierre?
That's right, David. Barr says he'll be working with Rosenstein and Mueller himself to figure out how much of the special counsel's report can be released to Congress and to the press, a process that sources tell us will take days, if not weeks, because of all the classified and grand jury material. And David, I was just told that process is already underway.
Pierre Thomas leading us off tonight. Pierre, thank you. President Trump flying back to Washington tonight after spending the weekend keeping a low profile at Mar-a-Lago. There were no tweets, no public comments about the Mueller report after it was turned in on Friday. Not until today when we got news of the Attorney General's summary. No collusion, no conspiracy with the Russians. I want to bring in ABC senior White House correspondent Cecilia Vega live at the White House tonight. Cecilia, you and I watched the president as he did speak late today. It sounded an awful lot like what he has maintained all along. Let's listen.
After a long investigation, after so many people have been so badly hurt, after not looking at the other side, where a lot of bad things happened, a lot of horrible things happened, a lot of very bad things happened for our country. It was just announced there was no collusion with Russia, the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. There was no collusion with Russia.
So, Cecilia, on Friday night when the news first broke, no more indictments, a huge sigh of relief for those closest to the president. And now tonight from the summary, no collusion. This White House has got to be feeling good tonight.
Yeah, David, and you could see it in President Trump right there. He walked right over to those cameras. He wanted to take a victory lap for 22 months. This is a cloud that has hung right over this White House. Today, President Trump is celebratory and he is defiant. And that is the stance from all of his allies right now. Really, the message is, we told you so. Sarah Sanders, she's got a statement out tonight as well. She's saying, quote, the findings of the Department of Justice are a total and complete exoneration of the President of the United States. For President Trump, David, this is personal, and he said as much today. He said that it was a shame that the country and that he had to go through this. And David, tonight his re-election campaign is already out fundraising off of these findings. They just sent a text message to supporters saying now it's time to fight back.
Cecilia Vega pointing out 22 months, and you've been reporting it every step of the way. Our thanks to you. Let's get right to ABC's chief legal analyst, Dan Abrams, here with us tonight. Let's break this down for folks at home, Dan, because Attorney General's summary said the special counsel's investigation did not find that the Trump campaign or anyone associated with it conspired or coordinated with Russia. It doesn't get any clearer than that.
It's an all-out win for the president and consistent with what he's been saying from day one. They did find, though, that there was, as we've known, a Russian effort to influence the election. That is clear. That is repeated and restated in this report, in the summary, but not any connection with the Trump campaign.
A Russian effort, but no coordination with the Trump campaign. On obstruction of justice, the new Attorney General William Barr writes, the special counsel did not draw a conclusion that Mueller set out evidence on both sides, and that Mueller wrote, this report does not conclude that the president committed a crime. It also does not exonerate him. A lot of people are going to think if you appoint a special counsel, why didn't he come to a conclusion on this?
Well, and it specifically says that the special counsel determined not to make a traditional prosecutorial judgment. That, to me, says he thought that the president was immune from prosecution, and as a result, he wasn't going to make a decision one way or the other. But William Barr and Rod Rosenstein did, and they actually used the fact that there had been no collusion, no conspiracy, to say that makes it harder to convict someone of obstruction. But now the question remains, should Barr be doing that? Meaning the reason you hire a special counsel, the reason you retain one, is because they're seen as a potential conflict with the Attorney General.
Dan Abrams with us tonight as well, and you bring us right to the next story here. The new Attorney General, William Barr, essentially clearing the president on obstruction, writing his summary based on what he read in that Mueller report, which sets up the battle. Will the American people get to read the same report, see the same facts that William Barr saw? Let's get right to Mary Barr. She's live. Mary Bruce live up on the Hill tonight. Mary, Republicans saying this is a very good day for the president. Democrats saying they're going to get the Attorney General up there.
Yeah, David, the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, Gerald Nadler, says that he wants the Attorney General to testify before Congress in the near future. Democrats tonight are zeroing in on the fact that Mueller was unwilling to fully exonerate the president, and they want to know why. And tonight you see Democratic leaders now questioning the Attorney General. They say that he has a record of bias against the Mueller investigation and is not a neutral observer. While Republicans, David, tonight they are declaring case closed. We've heard from Senator Lindsey Graham, of course, the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee and a close Trump ally. He says this is a great day for the president, that the cloud hanging over him has now been removed, saying it is time to move on. David.
Mary Bruce tonight, our thanks to you, Dan, Cecilia, and Pierre. And of course, our coverage of the Mueller report continues first thing in the morning on Good Morning America. Now to new developments tonight in the cruise ship Nightmare off Norway. The Americans on board sharing their horror tonight. The Viking Sky crippled after being rocked by dangerous waves. Many passengers evacuated by helicopter after being thrown across the ship. You can see the furniture there in those pictures. We are hearing from some of those American passengers tonight, and here's ABC's Eva Pilgrim.
Scare at sea. Tonight, that cruise ship stranded off the Norwegian coast safely docked as several American passengers recount their nightmare ride.
Water came bursting through that door.
Furniture sliding, parts of the ceiling crashing down. People in life vests stranded for hours. It was supposed to be an idyllic 12-day sail, a Northern Lights tour, but the 1,300 passengers and crew aboard the Viking Sky hit bad weather Saturday. The 2-year-old cruise liner putting out a mayday call after suffering engine failure.
We looked at each other and we said, this is really happening.
Emergency helicopters and boats rushed to the scene, battling high winds and waves to airlift more than 450 people one by one to dry land.